Hey guys, welcome to Let the Lady Speaks channel. This is Sonya Gary from Let the Lady Speak podcast and SonyaGary.com. I am first home tuber and I am here to take over. Shout
Hi,
out to
everybody.
Hey guys, shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to everyone watching this on the replay. Go ahead and like this video because this is going to be good. The beautiful Sonya has agreed to let me take over her channel. I'll be asking her personal questions about her life. Don't make faces now. We're here now. I'll be asking her personal questions about her life, her experience, maybe some dating things as well. But we'll learn more about the woman behind the awesome platform that she has built here on YouTube and all social media platforms. Let the Lady Speak. Welcome to my channel / your channel.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for doing the takeover. I'm super excited. Hi, the Miss Creative.
Hey
Okay.
guys, I'm drunk with power. The fact that I get to take over the channel is like I have been on 10 all day because, I am a fan of your channel, right? And, I think we connected on Janice's channel. I was reading your comments. I said, oh my God, this woman is so brilliant. And then I discovered your channel and your platform. And I'm like, she gives the best advice, the best insight. And I was like, she is amazing. So I've been a fan ever since. But with professionals like yourself and people who do great work, sometimes we want to know more about them. And that's what tonight is all about, guys. If you're here, make sure you are showing love in the chat, typing your questions. Should we shout the people out?
Yeah, let's shout them out. Hi, Future. Welcome, love. Hi, Crystal. I'm happy you finally made one. I'm excited. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Kimberly Reviews. Hi, the Miss Creative. We are excited to have you. Okay.
Yes.
You know what? I never knew that
Mhm.
you came to my channel via Janice's comment section. I never knew that. I always thought it was just we watched Ready to Love, and you know how they just they filter people through who also review it. I thought that's how we can. I learned something new. Well,
Yep. There was like a discussion, and I don't know if we were commenting to one another or I saw you commenting to someone else, but I said, oh, this lady is smart. She knows what she is talking about. And then I went to your channel and it was like more of the same. And I'm like, oh, yes. Yes, Janice Hilton. All right, so we get to learn about you tonight. It's all about you. How does that feel for you as someone who coaches others? How does it feel for the spotlight to be on you?
woo, interesting. Interesting, but I trust you. I love you. But yeah, it's interesting. So I'm ready though. I'm down for the challenge. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. Okay. But I have to let the rings go because this is not my channel tonight. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it up. I'm giving up
It's
my control.
mine.
Ah, okay.
All right, so we
All right.
are definitely going to get into the tea, guys, but let's start light. Let's talk about YouTube and your YouTube journey, okay? How long have you been at it with your channel and your podcast, which I think came before your channel, right?
Right. So my podcast came in 2020. I right before the lockdown, right before the panorama, I had one of my employees actually gave me the motivation. I was going to start a YouTube channel. Actually, back in 2012, I was going to do product reviews because my name is Sonya and I'm a product junkie. And at the time, I was transitioning my hair. My hair was down my back. And then I
Mm.
decided not to do it. I was like, that's just too personal, too much of my business. But then I I had an employee. I said something and she was like, you know what? If you had a podcast, I would listen to that every day. And I was like, let me do a podcast. And so I was supposed to do the podcast. I started the podcast, but it was supposed to just be me talking crap, talking hot topics. My friends think I'm funny. So I was like, okay, I'll get on here. We can just have chit chat. But then the lockdown happened. I was driving home one day and I was thinking to myself, like, if I was in my last relationship, I would not want to go home. And I was seeing how a lot of people were acting at work. You know, a lot of people were having a really hard time. And so I did a podcast called Creating a Safe Space for Your Mate. I shared that with some people, and then I started getting more dating, that people start wanting me to do topics on relationships and things like that. Like they would come to my office and talk to me, but now it was like, so that's how I got here, and it's been 2 years.
2 years. That is such an interesting tidbit that you were going to start with product reviews.
I was going to start with product. I love product reviews. I have 2 bathrooms and they're full of products.
Fun fact, we're getting to know the queen. We have a question here on the screen. Would you like to take this one? How on earth do you get all that pretty thick hair to slick down so well?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Kimberly. This is as I am leave-in conditioner and can to gel, and then I slick it back. I do it in parts, and then I slick it back and tie it down while I do my makeup and set up all the lights and everything. So that's how I do it.
That's a good tip. Just like the back down first, then the middle, then the front. That's really good
exactly how I do it. Because if you try to do it one, it won't. And now my hair is growing so much. It's like, you should have saw it. It was pretty bad.
Wow. Okay, awesome. So you've been doing it for 2 years now. What has surprised you the most about your YouTube journey so far?
The amount of work. I wish I had started back then, because it was easier then. Then you can have a grainy camera in the dark. Like now everything has to be kind of high production. Like back then though, it didn't matter. It's so much to learn. There's just a lot to learn. I didn't realize how much I would have to learn. And I'm up for the challenge, but that's been the most interesting part. And it's tougher now. Like before, you could talk about anything at any time, and your channel will grow quickly, and it isn't like that anymore. It's like it's very strategic now.
Got it. What's been your most memorable moment on YouTube?
My first collaboration.
Your first collaboration.
My first collaboration with the lovely, beautiful first home tuber. That was so my sweet. Like, wow.
What made it memorable for you?
The fact that I connected with someone in a space, you were so gracious and kind, and it was just like, yeah, we're gonna do this. And it was a topic that we talked about polygamy, and the topic was kind of a hot topic, you know, for a lot of people. I didn't know how that was going to be taken, but it was to offer a different perspective. So I thought that was important, because I believe in you can learn from anything. So I believe in having conversations. So yeah.
Very juicy topic.
It was.
Make sure you check out that polygamy collaboration if you haven't seen it already, okay?
Please do.
And let us know if you want to follow up.
Yeah, because I'm going to have a queendom as...
Ooh, yes. And this is why I call her Sonya Cinco. When she lets me, that's like my little nickname. I call her Sonya Cinco, because during that video, she said she would, you know, a good number of husbands for her would be around 5.
They would take care of everything.
Yes, they would.
They would. That's what I would want. Okay.
So let's do some fun stuff. Let's do some faves, right? Okay, here we go. Favorite cuisine type?
It's going to always be soul food for me, because my family is from the South and I love soul food. But honestly, I love Mediterranean. I love, I really love food. Like I love Vietnamese. I love food. I am a foodie. I love Asian cuisines of different types, Japanese, Chinese. I'll try anything once. I'm allergic to shellfish though, and I'm not supposed to eat it, but sometimes I do because there's a trick to it that I'm not going to share because I don't want anybody else to do it.
Mm-mm.
But because
You
I don't
don't
want
want
anyone
to
to get,
endanger the people.
I don't want to endanger the people. So, but yeah, yeah.
Soul
Food,
food.
soul food.
So
So
do
I,
you have a favorite or like a specialty or like something that your family might be known for, or a certain member of your family?
I make my grandmother's dressing is the best. I make my
Mhm.
grandmother's dressing. I actually make dressing two ways though, and then greens. I make great greens and peach cobbler.
Mm, 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 mm.
Yes, and sweet potato pie.
Yeah, sweet potato pie. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Mhm.
So Southern family,
Southern.
nice. Let's stay with the faves. Best place you've traveled to.
Best place locally is New Orleans. Like I love great food,
Mm-hmm.
great people, great architecture, great food. Did I say great food?
Yeah.
And I love the people. I love the atmosphere. I love the architecture. I just love New Orleans. Outside, Aruba is my favorite because Aruba is the balance between. It's a great balance between Caribbean and island living. I know Caribbean is in the island, but there's a difference when you go to different islands, and you
Mm-hmm.
get a little bit of Jamaica and like a little bit of Mexico, kind of how they it's a relaxed atmosphere. So that's my favorite. But I have a long list of places I want to go.
Okay. What's on the list?
I want to go to Tanzania. I want to
Mm-hmm.
go to Costa Rica. I want to go to Greece. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to Bora Bora, Maldives. I want to go everywhere, all the places.
Amazing. And you will, and then we'll have to follow up.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so best places are New Orleans and Aruba.
Hmm.
What did each of these places teach you? Because I know you're a thinker and you're like a takeaway person, right?
Hmm.
So, thinking about your travels to these two places, what did you take away from them in addition to enjoying yourself fabulously?
Aruba, I learned that life can be easy because they just
Mm,
love life. Like life is it doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be that stressful. And really, in New Orleans, besides all the beauty of it, and I just enjoyed the beauty, that resilience is so important. Like everything that they've been through, the people are still great. The people are still kind, still gracious, still welcoming. You know what I mean? Like we were
mhm.
walking down the street one day, and this lady was like, "Welcome to my city." And she was
Yes.
homeless. Yeah, she was homeless. She's like, "Welcome to," I said, "Welcome. Thank you for having me." You know, it was just I love it there. I just love the heart of the people in New
Mm,
Orleans. Like your heart is everything. And home is your heart. Can you imagine losing everything and then still just being loving and kind and welcoming to people, you know? That's New
mm.
Orleans. I love that about that place. And good food.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And the food.
And food.
We just want to say the food one more time.
One more time.
Shout out
Shout
to
out to
Beautifully T. I'm shouting you out because this is my channel today. Okay, I've taken over. So,
Mhm.
welcome. I'm asking lots of questions to Miss Sonya. And if you have questions, type them in the chat. But make sure to like the video first, guys. Awesome. Some more favorites. Your
Mhm.
favorite possession.
I have two. I have my childhood picture because I only have one picture of me as a baby, and
Ooh.
my books, all of them.
Mm.
And there's a lot of them. Yes.
That's kind of cheating. You made the books like a set, like a collection for one possession, but that's fine. I think I'm cool with that.
Yeah, because I don't think I have a favorite book. The Bible is one of my favorite books, and it's going to
Mhm.
sound kind of corny, but the Bible really truly is the book of life. Whether you are a Christian or not, the Bible is a good book to read. There's so many lessons in the Bible. So the Bible, yeah. So if I had those picture of me and my baby picture in the Bible, those are it.
Beautiful. Your favorite possessions.
Mhm.
Shout out to all the nerdies in the chat. I see your glasses. You identify as a nerd, and I love asking you about it because because I don't see nerd. Help me get from this to nerd.
Because I don't think I'm a nerd. I don't feel like I deserve the title nerd, but I am a lover of nerds.
Lover of nerds.
I love nerds. And I don't mean that in an offensive way, so I hope no one gets offended. But I grew up I'm from the 70s. I was born in the 70s. So 80s and 90s, we had a bunch of nerd movies, and I love them all. But I love nerds, all types of nerds. So, but
I'm
I
glad
don't mean
you
that.
have that awareness. You
Huh?
said what?
I said I hope I don't offend anyone. But yeah, I'm a lover of nerds. But I don't feel like I deserve it. They are way smarter, more creative than me, in my opinion. I have my own lane. They have a different lane, but I admire. But I do like one of my favorite places to go after school as a kid was to the library. Like everybody else it was either a dance or to the library.
Mm.
That was it. Like I'm at the math and science club.
Yes, math and science. Okay, so I stand corrected. A lover of nerds, and that makes way more sense to me.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your evolution. So let's talk about Sonya, little baby Sonya, as a child, as a teen. What kind of kid were you? And
Mouthy.
tell the truth.
Mouthy. I was a mouthy kid. I actually it's so funny because I just lost someone and we were having a family discussion. I was like, "What was I like as a baby?" And they said a princess. I don't know. I grew up around all boys. I was the only girl for the longest time until I was like 13, 12 or 13.
Hmm.
So, yeah, kind of tomboyish, kind of mouthy. I was always somebody's mother though. I have always been the mother hen. I've always been that type. My brother told me about a story I didn't know about. His father told him, I have a brother that's a year younger than me. I'm the oldest of 7, but I have a brother
Right.
that's 1 year younger than me.
Got it.
And he said he said something to my brother that I didn't like, and I took my brother and like rolled my eyes at him and took my brother down the street. I was like, I know that's me, but where we were living at that time, I couldn't have been any more than 5 years old. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, that was me. As a teenager, again, mouthy, bossy. Inger's not here. If she was here in the chat, she would say something. I was a piece of work, but I was quiet. I'm really an introvert, so I'm quiet. I was never one to follow the crowd, never one to follow the group. People will always ask me, like, I would do dance team, but I didn't hang out type deal.
Hmm.
I just always went my own way.
So you were around all boys, but they were younger than you.
No, everyone was older than me.
Oh, everyone was older than you. Got
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
Okay,
I have
cool.
one brother that's younger than me, but I grew up with my uncles, and my uncles are older than me.
Got it. Got it. So
Mhm.
the uncles were the males that were kind of like around, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. And which would you say, what did you dream of then? You were a kid, you were a teen, you were doing your dance team, you were an introvert, you were bossy. I caught that word.
I was bossy. Um,
What did you dream of?
I was gonna be a superstar. I was gonna be a superstar, a lawyer, and an accountant. Go figure. But that's what I was gonna do.
Yes, dreams. That's a
That's
black
what I was gonna
woman.
do. I was gonna dance for Ivan Ailey's dance theater and be
Mm,
on Broadway. And I
mm.
was gonna defend women who were victims of sexual crimes. And the accountant thing was just because my dad's an accountant. So
Big dreams as a little girl. I love that. And you know
mhm.
what's interesting to me is that what you were dreaming of are both left and right brain.
Yes. Girl, this brain, listen to me, okay?
So creative side, logical, analytical side, they're both were there even at that stage in life.
Yeah. Yes, they were.
And then, so thinking about, your teen years, growing up to now, which people or life experiences have influenced you the most?
To be honest, everything. But my grandmother,
Mm,
my grandmother gave me my work ethic. My grandmother she taught me grace and kindness. My grandmother, although, like now everybody's like, I'm a boss. My grandmother she was that, but she never ever said it. And I followed that with her. But how she moved, you knew, right?
mm.
She had very little education, but she owned homes, she owned properties. She
Witness.
Yes. She
Come on,
had
grandmother. Yes.
savings. She raised her children. She was always so graceful. Like my grandmother is she's so kind and so loving and so graceful. I love that
Mm,
about her. My mother is very street smart. And so my mother taught me how to be street smart as a woman,
mm,
because there was so much that she wasn't taught, because we were a church family. You just didn't talk about things. So my mother was like, you're not going to learn the hard way. You're going to learn, I'm going to teach you. Right. And
mm,
she was always honest, always upfront. My mother encouraged me always to use my voice
mm,
and always to command respect.
mm,
And so that's it. And then my one guy, my first high school, well, he wasn't my first high school boyfriend, but he was my first love, I should say.
mhm.
He taught me a lot. He taught me so much. So he influenced me to pursue all of my dreams, because no one around was really into what I was into, because I went my own way. But again, he was in there. He had a briefcase. He wore Birkenstocks. Like he had glasses that was like this thick.
Wow.
But he was
So was he a
highly
little older?
yes. Yeah, I always
Mm,
dated older. Yes. He was older. He was in college. He took me to
mm,
college campuses. He showed me how to do the FAFSA form. He encouraged me to go to school. He's like, come over and do your papers. Like, he was just my biggest supporter when it came to me being the best version of myself. He empowered me as a woman. So, yeah.
That's absolutely amazing that you've
Yeah.
segued us into your love, dating, and relationship segment.
Ooh, child. Okay.
So, first love in high school sounds like that was a very positive, affirming relationship,
Hmm.
and was older. And you said you always go older.
Yes. Well, I used to. So now older is kind of too old a little bit.
Because you're young and vibrant and energetic and have things to do, right? Is that what you mean? I'm
Yes,
assuming.
yes, yes. And so I don't know. It's like I need a young older, but I like older men. I've always liked dating older men. So here's the thing, the men my age are like there's a lot of trauma there with like crack era and things like that. So they have these weird dynamics where they really don't like women. Um, you have
Mm,
to deal with that. And older men taught me a lot. I like to learn. Older
mm,
men taught me. They were men of substance, and I love that.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So, do you think now you're in a place where you would consider dating a younger whippersnapper?
Well, I had a younger. I was dating a younger whippersnapper for a little while. Oh yeah. Um,
We're
uh,
all in here.
I did. I dated. He was, I used the term lover. He was a lover for like 6 years. We had a very interesting relationship. But even with that, like into books, even we're still cool. And he
Mhm.
sent me a book recommendation not too long ago. But yeah, I would. I don't know if I would take it seriously though. He would have to really be something for me to take the relationship in him seriously. I don't
Okay,
mean to
young
be rude
brothers,
with
I
that,
hope
but
you
that's the
listen.
truth. Huh?
Mhm. You said it's the truth?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's the truth. I think because I do believe you teach a person how to treat you, and I'm okay with showing you what's important to me, but you have to have the foundation. So if
Mm,
you don't have the leadership skills or the confidence to approach me or court me, then I'm automatically not going to be intrigued. You know what I mean? And I don't I don't see it so much now. But I will shout out to a lot of the younger men. They are being better. Like I see a lot of men with their children, and I love
mm,
that. But there's a certain way that I have to be, that you pique my attention. So I don't know if of the younger, because it's a different generation. They weren't taught the same way.
mhm. Got it. So, would you like to share your status today?
I am single. Single. I have been single for a long time. I've been single for a long time, but me and my lover, we ended things, I think, about a year or so ago. But we're
Mhm.
still, um, um, I'm single, but I'm about to get back out there. I'm ready. I
Okay.
take dating breaks. I take breaks from dating, because sometimes I just date. I usually date for companionship. I honestly think I probably dated for marriage one time very briefly. And then I was like,
Mm,
no, this is not for me. I date for companionship mainly.
got it.
That's my truth. Mhm,
That's your truth. How
mhm.
do men receive that as your aim in pursuing a relationship or considering a relationship? That you're dating for companionship and not marriage, other than the one time that you mentioned?
If they think it's a challenge, they're like, "Yeah, you don't mean it. You don't mean it, girl. You know you want to get married, and they'll tell me you'll change your mind, and you're gonna wanna." I'm like, okay, hey, because here's my truth: if you are my husband, then you're my husband, right? So even if I'm dating with the intention just to date for companionship, um, you're my if you're my husband, I'll know. And then
Mm,
I'll be willing to allow you to pursue me as your wife.
mm. I
Mhm.
hope everyone's taking notes, all the matchmakers, all the brothers out there. Shout out to Miss Creative. Shout out to Actually Aubrey. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel for tonight. But Miss Sonya Gary is on the hot seat. We're talking about her life, and it's getting really juicy, okay? So, have you been out here breaking hearts then?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you're a beautiful woman.
Mm.
You've had positive relationships, and I'm sure you get approached a lot. Do you find, you're just rejecting people all the time?
You're so cute. Thank you for that compliment. Um, Lately, no. I'll say lately no because I don't get out a lot.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I'm out, but I'm not out in places where I'm trying to be available.
mm,
Where I'm not out where I can really, really be pursued. I may see someone at the gym or something like that, but that's usually someone I'm not really interested in. Because when I go, the married crowd is there, right? So they're usually married men. Um, and I just haven't been really out there. Like I said, I had my one person,
mm-hmm,
and that was what I needed, and I was fine with that. I've shared before, I've never been like, oh God, I have to be married. I went through one portion in my healing phase where I felt like maybe I should be married, right? And so then I
mm,
tried to pursue marriage, but again, it wasn't for me. And then, of course, I've talked about before when I was younger and I was engaged, and he didn't want me to have a career. Awesome guy, awesome man. I'm not even gonna say that. Awesome man, awesome provider. There were some other issues, but the main issue for me is he didn't want me to have a career, and I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mother or wife, Yeah.
Got it. Cool. So you're about to get out there soon. What's the criteria? If somebody's watching this right now and they got like the hard eyes, maybe they're not putting it in the chat, but it's like the hard eyes all in their spirit. What should they have? Who should they be? What do they need to bring to have a chance?
Okay. So I have my rules. I don't tell everything. But intelligent, able to communicate well. I'm attracted to different looks, so the looks aren't. I mean, if I could have it my way, you'll be tall, dark, with a beard, chest hair, nice body, beautiful smile, beautiful eyes, and nice feet. I don't like bad. Take care of your feet and hands. I will not date a man with bad feet and hands. Absolutely not. That's a no. But and those are like bases. That's if you can have a good conversation, that's a good start for you. If you have good leadership skills, that's a good start for you. And to the ladies, I just want to point this out. This is a way to be vulnerable without being too vulnerable. So there's things I'll say, but there's things I'll never divulge. So I'm not giving away the key to my heart. I just want to make that be known. It's a whole lot of, yeah.
Smart women, subscribe. And this will be a great time to let the people know that if they need this kind of coaching and assistance and support in their life, that they can go to sonyagary.com and just get connected. Just start the process of connecting with Miss Sonya and get your life together. I'm getting my life together personally. Just so you guys know, I had a writing exercise to do this week, okay? And I am, look at her face. This is why I love her. Okay.
How did it go?
We had her see now she wants to know my
You put it out there. I wasn't gonna say.
What in the channel takeover? Hold on. Oh my God. This is water, guys. Okay. This is water. But this is so cute. So we had a cute little chat. Keep laughing. I'm gonna tell on you. We had a little chat, guys, offline. We had a little phone conversation, and it was very helpful. She was very supportive, as she always is. I mean, she is herself on and off camera. And so then we get off the phone, and she sent me a writing exercise. Okay, several questions with instructions. Don't choke, mute yourself. But I can tell you it was extremely helpful for my situation. And I just love teasing her about it because, this is who she is. This is an authentic, helper, So that was too funny. Go to sonyagary.com and get your life. Whether you're ready or not, it's time to get your life. sonyagary.com.
Thank you for that. But what's so funny? I was like, I'm going to leave it alone. I was like, no, I'm about to write this down. I was like, no, okay, this is what I would like for you.
Oh my goodness. So I can tell you from experience, it's professional, relevant, timely assistance, okay? sonyagary.com. Shout out to Inger and shout out to Future. More questions, guys. Okay, this is fun.
Thank you.
Celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush. Okay, so I really don't have a crush right now. Childhood celebrity crush, Bruce Lee and Michael Jackson.
You had a crush on Bruce Lee?
I had a crush on Bruce Lee.
And Michael Jackson? Wait. Okay, go ahead.
Bruce Lee and Michael Jackson. Bruce Lee was wise. he was wise. He was wise and he was creative. Michael Jackson's creative. And then, everybody loved Michael Jackson back in the day. I'm talking about Thriller, off the wall Michael Jackson. But yeah, yes. Those then. I'm gonna tell you who I have an attraction to, but I would not I wouldn't date, and that is Miguel. I'm intrigued by Miguel. Miguel he's a self-proclaimed nerd, and you know how I feel about nerds. And then there's certain interests, but I've never dated anyone like Miguel, but I am intrigued. But I know he's married, but I would never like seriously date. I can see what kind of guy he is, but I'm intrigued. I'm attracted to him. He's attractive to me in this area.
Okay, Miguel. Kimberly Review says, beautiful website. Yes, it is. You inspired me to create a website too a couple months ago. So grateful for you both.
Thank you. Congratulations, Kimberly. Congratulations. Hey, Inger Boo. That's my best friend, y'all. Inger first. Yes. Inger first asked me how I was as a kid, and I told her bossy.
She did say, but she said bossy. She said mouthy. And so, yeah, it kept it really real. So celebrity crush would be Miguel, but isn't necessarily Miguel. Okay. Since Inger is here, this is an awesome question. So this is more social life than love life. Okay. What would you plan for the perfect night out with your friend group?
Could I have 2 nights?
Yes.
Okay. So, I love to travel. We'll go somewhere beachfront, get a villa. Everyone will have their own room with their own bathroom. We will have music, karaoke, beverages, and because it's a villa and not a resort, we will have chef. We will have housekeeping because everyone's on vacation. There has to be a pool because I think I'm an Olympic swimmer now.
Yes, you are.
And then I would go, we would just have fun and whatever you wanted to do. It would be 2 days of us doing whatever we felt like, playing games, laughing, music, dancing, singing, relaxing. If you want to stay in your room, stay in your room. Whatever you want to do, that's what we would do. And then one night we would have to get dressed up and have a sit down, like 5-course meal, because I believe all ladies should dress up. It makes you feel, get sexy sometimes, even for yourself. Put some heels on, put the freaking girl dress on. You have to remind yourself you are the woman that you are, So I love for a woman to get dressed up. So get dressed up, and we would have dinner, but that's what we would do. That's what I'm planning that trip. That's going to happen. I'm manifesting that.
Manifestation. Actually, Aubrey said, who is Miguel? Miguel, she's very bossy and you love her for that. Okay, great. That is so true. It's good to verify what we've been receiving.
How we became best friends is me being bossy. I told the class to shut up because I was not staying after school. I wouldn't have turned off. They were going to make us have to stay after school. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I am sweet as can be, but I will not listen. I was something else as a kid.
Wasn't this like the 1st or 2nd grade or something?
7th.
Oh, 7th grade. Okay. Yeah. I thought I heard 2nd. So 7th grade. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a fun trip. That's going to be amazing. So tell us something about yourself that most people would be really surprised to find out.
That's a good question. Something about me that I would be. My granddad taught me how to fish. And I would not take the fish off the hook, but I love to dig my own worms.
Oh Listen, Grant, this is so fun. You guys like the video if you have not already. This lady is
I know people are like, what is wrong with you? Yeah, I am a very interested person.
so tell us about that. So granddad took you out. First of all, that is so sweet to go fishing with your granddad. That is just like the sweetest thing ever. And so you didn't like to take the fish off of the hook. Is that what you're saying? You
No,
didn't like
I
that
will
part.
not. I can't stand, to this day, I can't stand the feel of like fish with the skin. But I'll get my worms. I'll put my worm on. I'll dig up my worms. I'll put my worm on the hooks. Like I used to catch lightning bugs and take the light off. And I was sitting outside the other night, like I can't believe I was detaching the lights from light bugs. Like, what's wrong with you? But that's what happens when you grow up with boys. They have you
Yeah.
do little weird stuff like that. You don't think about it. But yeah, I think that's probably like something you would never, no one would. If you know how I am, like about my nails, I'm a person who would eat. I don't do this so much anymore, but I used to eat chicken with a fork, even if it was like
Mm-hmm.
a chicken wing with a fork, so that I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't get anything under my nails. Now I just carry wipes and clean my. I can't stand dirty. I don't like dirty nails. So
Wow. So people would be surprised to know you used to dig those worms up and put those worms on the hook.
I sure would. I sure would. Still would. It wouldn't bother me one bit. But don't ask me to touch a fish. I am not getting a fish off the hook. I used to lay my rod down and wait till my granddaddy did it. I'm like, Granddaddy, I caught a fish.
Come do your part.
Meanwhile, he's losing his fish trying to get me together. That was my granddaddy, though. He did it for me.
That is too cute. I'm so glad I asked that question. That was hilarious. I loved it. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your philosophy
Mm-hmm.
and your approach to life. Because I think this is interesting, especially for coaches like yourself, as you're helping other people. Hey, Crystal Lynette, welcome to my channel. As you're helping people in life and you're coaching people to be their best selves and to really get the results that they want, your own ideas about life, life's meaning, etc., informs your approach, right?
Right.
So what is your definition of love and what is your definition of success? You can take either one first.
Love. My definition of love is going to sound cliche, but it's patience, it's kindness, it's forgiveness, it's grace, it's understanding. Um, my healing journey taught me to look at life and love differently. My relationship with the Lord has allowed me to understand what true love is. So I look at love the same way because God is love, right? So I look at it that way. And that's how I view love. I also hold a space and understand that everyone's relationship with love doesn't look like what love really is. And so I don't, I'm a big person who separates behavior from the person because we don't come out the womb who, hurting people and being damaged and things like that. Life teaches us those things.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn to survive and we do what our environment does until we know better or learn better if we do. So I understand I understand that sometimes people view love. I remember once upon a time in my life, I hated for anyone to tell me they loved me because I knew some type of hurt or pain was going to come from that. But through my healing process, I have a completely different view of love now. And so I don't feel that way. I'm willing to accept it. And I know if it isn't for me, I can remove myself from it and I can still love you from a distance. That's why I don't like when people say, well, love is an action word. No, really, love isn't action. You can show love through action,
Mm-hmm.
but it is not actually an action because sometimes you have to love a person enough to let them go. You have to love them enough to let them grow. You have to love them enough to see them for who they are, and we don't want to, sometimes we want people to be who we want them to be, but they are who they are. You have no control over that. And so you have to love them in the skin that they're in. Love is seeing somebody like God sees us. He knows exactly who we are, and He loves us for exactly who we are. That's love. So that's how I view love.
Mm.
Success. I view success. Go ahead.
I have
You
a
were gonna say
follow-up
something?
question, but let's define success and I'll come back to my question.
Success is peace. Peace over everything.
Right.
For me, success is peace. I'm peaceful, or if you're peaceful, you're happy. You know, I've gotten off of that how much you make train, all these other trains. Success is peace. It's loving yourself, understanding yourself, accepting yourself, and being peaceful with who you are and where you are with life in life.
Mm. You said something when Kimberly says, love isn't action. She's never heard that actually. And I think a lot of people would have a similar reaction to Kimberly's. If love is not an action, then what is it? I heard patience.
It's patience, grace,
Mm-hmm.
kindness, understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You so I have people, and this is why I know love is an action. You show love through
Through
action.
action.
Yeah, but I don't. This is my personal philosophy. I don't believe love is an action. I have people that I love. When I tell you I love so deep and so hard. But I know where they are in their life, they can't be part of mine. It isn't healthy for either one of us.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean I don't love them,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I love you, but I love me more, and I need to be safe. If me loving you means I'm gonna sacrifice myself, my health, my mental health, my mental well-being, I can't be around you. I don't care how much I love you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
But what you're saying, you could still, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so you're saying you could still have that posture, the things you described, patience, understanding, kindness. You can have that posture towards someone, but you can also decide what actions you use to show based on how appropriate that might be.
Right. So I love you. Something happens to you, I'm there by your side. But every
Mm-hmm.
day, I'm not showing up for you, showing my love for you every day because
Mm-hmm.
I love myself. And where you are right now may not be healthy for where I am, and this is something that my life has taught me personally. I'm not gonna go too deep, but I have
Mm-hmm.
some, like I said, I have some people that I love dearly. Like I sincerely, if Ingrid's still in the chat, she'll tell you how hard I love the people I love. I'll kill a rock, baby. I am very protective, but I had to learn that they have their own life journey, and I have to let them have that journey. And I can't protect them from themselves. I only can protect myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can't jump in trying to show you that I love you, trying to rescue you and hurt myself. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I don't love you because I won't give you money for your addiction. It doesn't mean that I don't love you because I won't come pick you up every time you do something. It doesn't mean that. Actually, I love you enough. If you want to say it's an action, I love you enough to let you fail so you can hit your bottom so that you can get up and rebuild yourself. I love you that way, but I'm not going to show up. I'm not showing up every day to show you actions of love so that you know that I love you. Now, in a romantic relationship, that is different. But when we just talk about overall love, then that's different because you got to think about it. Look at again back to our relationship with God. Think about our relationship with God. He loves us. He corrects us with kindness. He lets us have free will to do what we do. But he loves us and we mess up all the time. We mess up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't keep our promises. We don't follow what we're supposed to follow. And I don't want to get too much into that because, I'm trying not to bring my personal beliefs in it too much because it's kind of unconventional in a lot of ways. But he still loves us. God still
Mm-hmm.
loves us. Spirit, higher self, whichever term you use, source still loves us, still shows up every day, gives us new grace every day.
Mm-hmm.
When it's time, we go to him and he's like, okay, you gonna submit now? You you ready? Okay, come on. But it doesn't, that's why I say love isn't an action. You do show your love through action, but it doesn't mean it may not look like what you think it's supposed to look like.
I think that's amazing for people to wrap their head around, especially, and she's not saying this, I'm jumping out of the window and saying this, especially for Black women, because I think, we're magic and we're often, praised for our love and, being things such as long suffering, willing to struggle, willing to compromise, willing to what some would call mule, willing to show our love, which is in fact magic, to show it all the time. But you can have love for someone and still decide and make choices about which actions to take and when.
Right.
And when you decide not to take those actions or not to take those actions at that time, it doesn't mean that there is not love there. There could still be love there.
Absolutely. And I've had some great loves in my life, I'll be honest, but we weren't meant to be together. It doesn't mean that I don't love them. It just means that we weren't meant to be together. We had a season. Excuse me, that season came to an end. I have no bad feelings about it. Like, I honestly could say I don't have a bad feeling about any of my exes. I understand what those relationships were, and that's that. And I've had some interesting relationships and I've had some things happen, but and if I told you I loved you, I still love you to this day. To this day, I still love you.
It's amazing.
But we're not, yeah, but we're not in each other's life. So
shout out to Alicia Jackson, LPC. Welcome to my channel. And we are talking about Sonya, all the things we want to know about the woman behind the fabulous work that she does. So we've defined love. We've defined success. This is when I get excited, I try to say 3 sentences at once. Sorry, guys.
Okay. No, you're good.
So, you've talked a little bit about your healing journey, right? What can you share with us about what that looked like for you? What did you find helpful? And at what point in your life did that journey mainly take place in terms of your overall experience?
Healing is a continuum.
Yep.
And I've had several forms of it because I experienced a lot in childhood. So I've shared before that I had a loved one that was addicted, was an addict, and I went through Al-Anon with them. They went through treatment, and I did Al-Anon, I can't get it out now, Al-Anon. So there was the therapy there and things like that. At 12, I started journaling. I didn't know it was journaling. I had a diary and I would just kind of write out my feelings or write out my thoughts. And that was always helpful. I've always been vocal. So I would talk to people that I trusted or that I just felt like I needed to vent to about some things. I did that. So there was that phase. But the coup de grace was my last relationship. My last serious relationship. That relationship took me through, but let me just be honest, the relationship was a mirror. The relationship was a mirror for all the places and spaces that I tried to hide, past pains, traumas, unresolved issues, things I did not even know impacted me, because we are taught in our community to just keep going, you're okay. And for me, I am so different from what I was told I was going to be. Like, I was told I wasn't going to be anything. I was told I was going to be a drunk. I was told I was going to be a lot of, I was told some horrible things. However, I was determined not to be any of those things, and I did it. So for me, I was successful. I'm the complete opposite of all of your expectations. I've exceeded the expectations, but what I did not acknowledge was a lot of the pain and the hurt that happened because we're taught to just keep going, stuff it down, keep going, you know. And that's what I would do. I forget it. I'm gonna put myself through college.
Mm,
I'm going to make sure I'm not a single mother because, I've had some people that were followers of mine that left my channel when I said I didn't want to be a single mother.
mm,
I don't have anything against single mothers, but what I did know is I saw women who out in public looked like they had it all together, but I knew those women behind closed doors, like crying and unhappy and doing things they didn't want to do to make ends meet. And I was just like, I just don't want that life. Like, if I get married and this man is a good father, then I'll have his child, right? So he would have to be a good father and a good husband. And I know I had the power to choose that, but I
mhm,
didn't want to just be a single mother. So I
mm,
worked hard not to. I stayed on my birth control. I carried my own condoms. You were going to use a condom, I'm checking. I was very diligent
mm,
about that not happening. I just didn't want to be what I was told I was going to be and what I saw around me because I saw so much hurt and pain. I saw it. I saw so much
mhm,
struggle.
mm,
And people didn't talk about it, but you're not talking about how you sneaking your baby to work because you don't have a babysitter, or you have to put your child in the hands of somebody you don't trust because you got to go to work because you got to keep a roof over your head, things like that. Like, there was so much our community just would not talk about. But anyway, I saw those things and I decided I wanted a different life, and so um I worked hard not to get there, but in that I did not acknowledge the people that I had anger towards, the people who I felt like betrayed me, let me down, who hurt me, all these other things, things I didn't even know were abnormal because at the time they were normal. Yeah.
mm,
So, um, I was just like, I'm gonna move on, and my life wasn't terrible. I don't want to paint the picture like I had this horrible, terrible life. I love my family. I love the people that I grew up around, but there's generational issues. There are
mhm,
community based issues, and I
yeah,
dealt with those. Now, I grew up, from '87. That's when the crack era like really changed, and it devastated a lot of our communities, and some of the
mhm,
most well educated, well established people were impacted by it. So I had to deal with those things. And so that relationship was a mirror, and that relationship required, after it was over, it required that I fix myself. And when I tell you, so now I'm about to go off on something else. I know this is your channel.
girl,
Just give me a moment.
you
So, thank you. So, I had, when it was all said and done, and I'll talk about that relationship later because he's not here to defend himself. And like I said, if I tell you I love you, I love you. And if I respect you, I respect you. So he's still near and dear to me. We all have hurt and we deal in our own way. Um, but when it was over, I try to do what I normally do, which is work. I've always been a worker. You will hear me talk about different jobs because I've always had 1,000 jobs. I will have 3, 4, 5 jobs. I'm gonna have some jobs. That was my coping with. That's my numbing medicine. So I may have never picked up drugs or alcohol, but
mhm,
I worked and I shopped.
mhm,
And my excuse was I'm working hard and this is my life. And you know what I mean? But I was
mhm,
one day I'm standing in line like, why are you buying this? I was stressed. It was my way of
mhm,
dealing. So God took all of that away from me.
mm,
He said, "You gonna sit down now." For years, I have been saying, "One day I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. I just don't have time." Right? I would literally say that because I purposefully kept myself so busy. I was always in school and working 2 jobs. That's what I did.
mm,
Um, but when that relationship was over, he was like, "It's time."
mm,
And baby, when I tell you he'll put you on your knees, when I tell you he'll isolate you and say, "Now all you have is me. Come to me."
mhm,
And that's what happened. Everything was I was isolated. I was by myself. I was just like, it is time for me. I laid in my bed, y'all. I cried. It would be days I would cry. It would be days that I would be angry. It would be days. I mean, I went through all of these emotions.
that you had kind of deferred.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I tell my clients, You don't you if you don't deal with your mess will deal with you. When it's time for you to move towards your purpose, when it's time for you to grow to the next level, it's going to happen. Just like, when you really, really sleepy and you try not to go to sleep and then you just go to sleep and you have no control over it. It's like that. When it's time, it's time. And I had been crying out to the Lord for a bunch of things. I'm like, Lord, I want people to see you in me. Okay. That was one. I want to help people. I had all these things I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know what that was going to look like. And we ask for things, but we don't know what the process to getting there is going to be. And then we get on the other side. It's like that's what it was for. So now when I pray for stuff, I say, be gentle because you play too much. You got to be nice. Be, you know, don't do all that you did before. I'll never want to feel that. But I was in the dark. I was in darkness.
Yeah.
People can say hell is when you die. That is a lie. I don't believe that. Where I was in that moment in time was pure hell. I was tortured by so much pain that
Mm-hmm.
I ignored and I did not know was there. No one would know either. No one knew. I was saying, I always looked like I had it together, but I was suffering. When I look back at that journal and those entries, I literally was calling out for help all the time. Lord, help me. Take this pain away. What do I need to do? I remember one time I'm like, just hit me with a bus. Just crush every bone in my body so I don't feel any of this anymore. I don't want to feel this anymore. But went through all of that, got to the other side of it, and the amount of peace that I have now, that's why I say peace over everything. You always hear me say that. Baby, I'm in peace. I'm in peace. I'm blessed. I know I'm taken care of. I know who's mine. I know whose I am. I know who I am. And I know all of that was to get me to where I am now. And I would, to be where I am now, I would do it again. I don't even touch that journal anymore. I call it my dark journal. I don't even touch that journal anymore,
Yeah.
So that was the healing journey. Like for 2012. 2012 is when the Lord set me down, isolated me, and required that I dealt with myself. And I did. And now I'm here. And now I'm on YouTube.
And now you're here.
Yeah, I'm
Beautiful.
here.
Kimberly says, this is so good. Inger said, the Black sheep of the family, but you overcame all of those ugly things and became a successful, beautiful woman that you are today. Absolutely. Demons Creative said, when Sonya talks, I always feel like I'm in therapy. It doesn't go off. It doesn't go off, right?
Hey, thank you. I know this was supposed to be a fun night. I didn't want to get heavy, but I felt like that
I'm
message
having fun.
Okay, well, good. How
Chat,
y'all feel about it?
let us know if you're having fun.
What's the chat thing? Okay. So what's the next question?
So well, what do you think about the dating scene right now overall? Because you're about to, enter back into it. And we're at a place, I think, in social media where people are discussing dating and relationships so much. There's like all this discussion. There's the manosphere. There's the woman sphere. There's, this movement, the red pill, and then the femininity, and then the, hypergamy. And like all of the people are discussing dating and coupling. I'm not. What's your take on all of this talk that's happening, and are we moving in the right direction in terms of coming together?
I have so many feelings on all of this. I have issues with almost every area. But I was watching a podcast and someone said something, and this rang so true. They said the unfortunate part of all of these voices in these spaces is that it's a lot of people that are just they're finally getting their voice heard, and everyone that can relate to them are kind of chiming in. But the people who are doing well, you don't hear anything. You don't hear anything about these healthy relationships. You look at Hollywood, you look at all the Black couples that have been married forever. You never hear anything about Denzel Washington and his wife. But they said, like, these people are living they're living a good life. And it's not to say that their relationship has been perfect. They've been together forever. But No one says how to do it right, and how to do it healthy. You just have like all the hurt people with the problems that say we don't like each other, we don't love each other, we're bad. I think it is horrible. I think it's terrible. I think it serves no purpose. I think it damages our community. I think it damages us as a society. I think it serves no purpose. Because at the end of in the beginning of the day, I know we don't like that term need, but we need each other.
Mm.
You cannot have a community with we can't have a community without one another. We
Mm-hmm.
can't grow as a society without each other. So I hate it. And one of the reasons why I focus so much on healing is because I do realize when I look back at some of my other relationships, especially the last one, the last serious one, um, had we had the tools, had we been healed, had we been in a different place and space, we could have made it. And the
Mm-hmm.
same with a lot of other people. I just think I think people are irresponsible with their messages, but everybody has a right to say what they want to say, and everyone has a right to their thoughts and views and express themselves. But the problem with it is that it's destructive.
Mm.
That's what I think of it. I think of it as destruction. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And you know me, I'm very mindful about what I say on purpose
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know someone's story. So why are you calling them names and tearing them down? Like you don't know
Right.
them. And these are still human beings. These
Right.
are still people with feelings. And
Right.
I hate that no one's human anymore. I find it so disrespectful. We're human. We have feelings. We have families. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So,
Thank you for speaking on that. Um, what tell us like your in terms of like, coaching, which you now do.
mhm,
You're available at sonyagary.com for people who are looking for coaching and assistance and support and help, putting a real plan together,
mhm,
to get to your goal, whatever that may be.
mhm.
In terms of coaching, how do you take care of yourself as someone who is involved in such intense work?
I do a lot of self-love and a lot of self-care. I When I need breaks, I take breaks. Like I'll shut down when like I said, I'm an introvert and I'm the type of introvert like you would never know with me being out and about. But in order for me to recharge, I have to disconnect. So
Mhm.
I disconnect. And then there's sometimes I need to have my cup filled by one of my loved ones. So my best friend, me and her, we'll FaceTime, and she's so protected. It's so funny. She'll be like, "How are you feeling?" Like she always checks in on me. Thank you, Inger. I love you, booby. But all of my friends are like that for me, and I love that. That's another thing my healing journey has afforded me. It has afforded me people in my life who are genuinely for me and love me. I get the energy I receive I receive the energy that I send out rather, and I
Mhm.
love that. But I disconnect. I meditate, I pray, I listen to music, I go outside. I love being outside, so I will go outside. I book a trip.
Mhm.
I will take a solo trip. Um, I read and I'll try to read something different. Um, I do I do a lot. I do my manicures, my pedicures, I go get my nails and stuff done. I go get a massage. I go swimming. Which I'm not a great swimmer. I'm saying that jokingly, but I have gotten been a goal of mine to get over a fear. And that's what I've been working on. So I've been working on getting over that fear. And I'm so proud of myself as to where I am now. Cause like I'm doing all of the things and I'm excited about it because one day I'm jumping off a boat in the middle of the ocean and I'm not gonna panic. That's the goal and I'm gonna enjoy it. So I do something creative. I cry. Sometimes I cry. I cried the other day. It was grateful. I was crying of gratitude. I sat down on the floor. I faced the sun. I listened to some gospel music. I cried and I thank God for every single
Mm.
thing. you know.
That's that.
It always makes me feel better.
Amazing. Because it's really important, I imagine, for what you do to take care of yourself. Shout out to Auntie's Advice Channel for Women. She asks, when you disconnect, what do you connect to outside of people?
I connect to, oh, okay, she said I answered it. Yes, I connect to
Okay.
source. I connect to source. I connect to God. I just spend time alone, and I need time to think. So I clear my mind. I will meditate.
Beautiful. Um, other non you guys are going to be mermaids in a little while.
I know, right?
Any other questions for Sonya? Those were my questions. This has been, the takeover. It has been fun. Who are some other maybe creators that you would like to collaborate with next?
Um, everyone. I want to collaborate with more ladies in this space, but I
Mhm,
also want to collaborate with people in the coaching genre as well. Mm, I'm trying to move my channel more that way.
mhm,
God has kind of dealt with me on with that.
mhm.
And it's been, this channel started off as a podcast,
Right.
and I'm just trying to figure it out. But I'm solid in where I'm going and what I'm going to do. So I would like to collaborate with some of my favorites. I won't say their name right now, but some of my favorite coaches I'll collaborate with. I would like to. I'm gonna speak it into existence.
Awesome. Thank you, Inger. Shout out to Sienna Sunset. Thank you, Sienna.
I haven't seen you. Hi,
Yes, Sienna Sunset is here.
Sienna.
Amazing. How can viewers who love you best support what you're trying to do and the change you're trying to make in the world?
um, I would say, share my content. If you have questions, send them to me. I'll do videos on them. I am going to start doing more videos about dating, about relationships, problem solving, things like that. And I want to get into, I know everyone wants me to talk about narcissism, and I'm going to get into it, and toxic people, and I'm going to get into it, but I wanted to balance it out a little bit because it could be heavy, and I don't want everything to be just heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I want to do that. I'm getting into that. But yeah, that subscribe to my channels. Um, if you are looking for, or if you know someone that needs help, because not everyone I coach has like they're doing work, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
people just want someone to talk to. And I think that's a misconception about coaching, that everything is about work, coaching and therapy, that everything is just about work.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some people just want to talk. I have one person I meet with once a month, and they're getting into a new relationship. They don't want to do all of the work. They just want to talk. They just want to chit chat. They just want someone to kind of like hear them out. They want to talk about things that they don't want to talk about with their friends and family, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
important, because sometimes the people around us don't get our vision. And like we were having a conversation, and I said, we always have to remember God gave you the vision. This
Mm-hmm.
is your purpose. And while support and all that, like, but you still have to remember what we were all called to do our own thing. So you have to kind of stick to that. And this person was having that issue, and so I talked to them through that. So sometimes it's about talking, but then sometimes there's actual work that's needed, but it's up to you. you
Mm-hmm.
know for me, it's just about, let me give you the tools to help you, let me show you.
Absolutely.
That's it. So
Mm-hmm.
in the future, to pick up your tools. That's what I do. My therapist, and I didn't have a coach, I had a therapist and different things, and they were just like, hey, I know to pick up these tools. So now I know to meditate, I know to journal, I know to do things that make me happy, I know to be creative or whatever it is that works for me. I know when to self-correct myself, how to talk when anxiety is coming and things like that. Those are the tools that I've gotten.
That's awesome because I think it's good for people to know that coaching, can look different ways based on their needs. And some people aren't having a life crisis. You may be happy and fulfilled and wonderful. You just have a goal, that you
Mhm,
want to achieve, or
mhm,
something that you're working on, or,
mhm,
you have a thought, or for a lot of people, you begin to think differently than you
mhm.
have, in years prior. You just want to talk that out and work that out. And so I think that's awesome because like you don't have to be like going through trauma or something traumatic in order to benefit from coaching.
No, not at all. I've had some people who they have an issue communicating something to someone and they
Right.
just want advice on how to communicate a concern. Or I've had people who um they want to make a life change and they just want to feel supported in that life change because
Mhm.
everyone around them is telling them no. So I don't just do relationships. And when I talk about relationships, I'm talking about all relationships. I don't just focus on romantic relationships. I do have a few married people. I don't have them as couples. I have married individuals because
Mhm.
I have an issue talking with my partner or I'm not getting my needs met. How can we problem solve this? And it's about problem solving and things like that. So
The Miss Creative would love to meet us both. You're trying to get two introverts in person. Good luck. Sienna Sunset says, hey. Auntie's Advice Channel for Women says, since you didn't want to be a single mother, how do you advise them, specifically some who pregnancy is, so I guess she meant someone, specifically someone whose pregnancy is unwanted. How do you advise them?
how do I advise them on what? I think
Maybe
so.
a general question, or
Hmm.
I'm not sure if it's a general question,
Oh,
like
I
how you
don't
would
really.
advise someone going through that.
Yeah, I until when I don't usually when I deal with someone who's a single mother, it's not a single mother problem. It's kind of
Mhm.
like a life concern. It's a life concern. But I will tell you where I have helped some people. Um, who still have anger issues with their parents. Like we'll have
Mhm.
that conversation and they may be putting that onto their child
Mhm.
and I'll have that conversation with them.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Cool.
think like I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mm-mm. Go ahead.
Being a single mom, pros and cons of an unwanted pregnancy.
Um, it depends on the situation
Yeah.
and if it's so it all becomes okay, well let's look at if we're still in the pregnancy stages, let's look at our possibilities. What can we do? Right?
Mhm.
What tools do we have available? What resources can we find out? Because some people just don't know about resources. And that's the benefit of being a nurse because we're required to know those things. So then
Mhm.
it becomes, well, let me find some resources that can help you and things like that. But I honestly don't work with a lot of single mothers. I'm gonna be
Mhm.
honest. Or if they are, they're older, their children are older, like college. They're about my age, so they're about college age or about to go into high school. As far as unwanted pregnancies, the conversation is about again, well, what are we going to do? What is your goal in life? And how can you direct us? Like what resources? Who would you talk to? What would this look like for you? Um, it's kind of having those conversations. I'm a pick things apart person. I'm a puzzle person. So that's where this comes from. I love puzzles. So I'll pick everything apart and then put them together. But I really just try to support them and then let them know, okay, well, this has happened. So this has happened, right? Now what? Now how can we make matters better? Like, don't beat yourself up about it. Now it's just trying to figure out another game plan. My mother taught me a very important lesson when I was like 6 or 7 years old. You know how you can't walk across the wet kitchen floor? She was like, "Don't walk across the floor." So I was mopping the floor and I mopped myself into the corner of the kitchen. I'll never forget this day. And I was like staring out at the kitchen, like crying because I was like, I can't walk across the floor. What am I gonna do? And she looked at me. She said, "Why are you crying?" I was like, "I don't know how I'm gonna get out the kitchen. I mopped myself in this corner." My mother walked over to me. She looked me in my face and she said, "You don't ever cry. You figure it out." Now,
Mm.
she walked back across my kitchen floor. She stood in the corner and she said, "So what you gonna do?"
Mm.
So now it's just about figuring it out based on the circumstances. So I talk to them based on their circumstances and whatever resources could be available and support them through that. You know, again, I've seen a lot. So there's a lot I know, but I don't know personally because I'm not a mother. Although I get Mother's Day texts every single year, I have not birthed a child. I have
Right.
not birthed a child. So, however, I can support you, depending on the circumstances, is what I can do. And even if that's just motivation, sometimes it's just about letting you know that you got it, or seeing something in you that you might not have wanted to acknowledge, or that you may not know, and saying, you have the gift of this and you can use that gift. I believe children are blessings. My mother used to tell me all the time, "You saved my life." So I believe that too. I believe that for sure.
Mhm.
So it depends on the circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. I have loved taking over the channel and being totally in charge. I was the bossy one tonight, guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys have made this absolutely so much fun. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for giving this video a thumbs up. And I will allow Sonya anything you want to say, like before we close out.
No, I want to thank you for taking over the channel. You had some great questions. Um, and I appreciate you. And I would like to know if you would like to share more about your channel and your upcoming events.
Yeah, sure. I definitely will. Thanks, Kimberly. She said, "I really enjoyed you, beautiful ladies. I learned so much." I learned so much too. I learned so much about my Sonya Cinco. So much. This was good. Gee, this was amazing. Make sure you share the video and let people know that we were over here getting into Miss Sonya. I am First Home Tuber.
Mhm.
My channel is the First Home Tuber channel. I also have a second channel called This Is Why I'm Single, where I talk about dating and relationships and reality television and celebrity stuff and all of that. Feel free to follow me on both. I really appreciate it.
Please do. I'm looking forward to the new content of your show, your channels.
My channels are coming back in August.
Guys, make sure you go subscribe to First Home Tuber's new channel. This is Why I'm Single, and her current channel if you are not already subscribed. Okay.
Sonya, thank you for being so transparent and open with us. I know it could not have been easy for someone as private as yourself, but we definitely enjoy getting to know you more and understanding more about the woman behind the work that you do. So thank you. I think you did awesome and amazing. And we'll say goodnight to the people.
Good night, people. And don't forget to love yourself for who you are. Y'all have a good night. Thank you so much for sharing with me. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.